Welcome to Miss Rowe Classroom. Earlier, we completed the first poem from the syllabus My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. Today, we will review Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Let's start with the poet. Pablo Neruda was a Chilean poet and diplomat. His poems often explore themes of love, nature, politics, and human experience. Keeping Quiet was first written in Spanish as A Quedarse and published in the collection Extravagaria in 1958. In 1974, Alistair Reid translated Extravagaria into English. Returning to the poem, let's begin with the summarization. The poet asks everyone to count to 12 and be quiet for a moment. He suggests that for once, people should not speak in any language and should remain still. This silence would create a unique and peaceful moment without the usual rush and noise. Fishermen would not harm whales, and men gathering salt would notice their own suffering. Those who create wars would stop and live peacefully with others. The poet clarifies that he does not mean complete inactivity or death. He wants people to pause their busy lives to reflect and understand themselves better. He believes the earth can teach us that life continues even after stillness. The poet counts to 12 again and invites everyone to keep quiet as he leaves. Let's move to the line-by-line explanation of the poem. First two lines. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. The poet asks everyone to count to 12 and keep still. This is a call for silence and stillness, encouraging people to stop their activities and be in a state of calm and peace. By saying we will all keep still, the poet emphasizes collective action, indicating that this quiet moment should be a shared experience by all people, uniting everyone in a common purpose. Next four lines. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Pablo Neruda is advocating for a moment of complete stillness and silence. For once on the face of the earth suggests that this silence should be global and involve everyone. The poet emphasizes the need for universal silence, transcending linguistic and cultural barriers. People can move beyond differences and experience a shared silence by not speaking in any language. He calls for a brief pause in our busy lives. This second of stillness is meant to be a moment of reflection and peace. Neruda suggests minimizing physical activity. The poet asks for a reduction in the constant, often unnecessary, movement and activity that defines modern life. Next four lines. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Pablo Neruda envisions a unique and unfamiliar experience created by the collective stillness and silence he previously described. It would be an exotic moment refers to this collective pause's rare and unusual nature. It would be something out of the ordinary, a break from life's usual, hectic pace. Without rush, without engines, emphasizes the absence of hurry and mechanical noise. Without rush suggests a lack of urgency, and without engines implies a quietness devoid of the sounds of machines and vehicles that dominate our environment. Neruda highlights the sense of unity and shared experience in this moment of stillness. Despite physical distances, being silent together would create a sense of solidarity. in a sudden strangeness indicates that this shared silence would feel unusual and surprising. It's a strangeness because it contrasts sharply with the usual noise and activity of daily life. Next 4 lines. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. The lines reflect the idea that the usual harmful activities would cease during this moment of collective stillness. Fishermen who typically harm whales for their catch would refrain from doing so, symbolizing a temporary halt in human activities that negatively impact nature. This imagery suggests a pause in environmental exploitation and harm. Lines 13-14 portray a moment of self-reflection and recognition of one's suffering. The salt gatherer, who would usually be preoccupied with his work, would instead take a moment to notice the pain and damage his labor has caused to his hands. This signifies a heightened awareness of one's own physical and emotional toll due to continuous, relentless work. Next set of lines. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. The poet envisions a world where those engaged in creating and executing wars pause their violent activities and instead engage in peaceful, harmonious coexistence. It emphasizes a profound transformation from conflict and destruction to tranquility and unity. The phrases green wars, wars with gas, and wars with fire refer to different forms of destructive conflicts. Green wars might imply environmentally harmful conflicts, and wars with gas and wars with fire indicate chemical and incendiary warfare. These are wars that cause widespread destruction and suffering, leaving no survivors. The poet imagines those responsible for these wars would stop their violent actions. Would put on clean clothes symbolizes a departure from their usual dirty, battle-worn state, indicating a change in their behavior and mindset. It suggests a transition from destruction to cleanliness, tranquility, and peace. And walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing illustrates a peaceful, relaxed scenario where people who were previously involved in creating wars now enjoy a simple, tranquil existence. Walking in the shade implies comfort and protection from harsh conditions, and doing nothing signifies a cessation of harmful activities, allowing for rest and reflection. Next set of lines. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. Neruda clarifies that his call for a moment of global stillness is meant to encourage reflection and awareness about life, not to suggest inactivity or death. Neruda differentiates his request for silence and reflection from a complete cessation of all activity. He is not advocating complete idleness or inaction, but rather a purposeful pause. Life is what it is about emphasizes that the poet's goal is to focus on life and living meaningfully. The purpose of the pause is not to escape life, but to understand and appreciate it more deeply. I want no truck with death means that Neruda does not want to be associated with death or the concept of total inaction as a form of escape. His aim is not to promote a death-like stillness, but to foster a constructive and reflective pause in daily life. Next set of lines. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Neruda says people are often obsessively focused on maintaining their busy routines and activities. This relentless pursuit of movement and progress can prevent deeper reflection and self-awareness. He suggests that taking a break from our usual busyness and doing nothing might be beneficial. The poet imagines a pause where people stop their constant striving and activities. He adds further that a profound moment of collective silence could break the cycle of sadness that comes from not truly understanding ourselves. The huge silence represents a meaningful pause that might offer clarity and relief from emotional distress. Neruda addresses the sadness resulting from a lack of self-understanding and the anxiety related to mortality. The poet suggests constant activity and busyness contribute to this lack of self-awareness and existential fear. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Neruda reflects that as nature cycles through apparent death and eventual revival, a moment of global stillness and reflection could lead to profound realizations and renewed understanding. It highlights the potential for transformation and discovery in nature and human experience. The poet suggests that nature has wisdom and lessons to offer. Observing the natural world might give us insights into our lives and behaviors. As when everything seems dead refers to periods in nature when it appears lifeless or dormant. For example, the natural world might seem barren or devoid of life in winter or during a drought, and later proves to be alive, contrasts with the initial appearance. Despite seeming dead, nature eventually reveals its vitality. This is seen when new growth appears in spring or when plants recover after harsh conditions, demonstrating resilience and renewal. In the poem's context, these lines highlight the theme of finding meaning and life in moments of stillness and reflection. Just as nature can appear lifeless yet later show signs of life, pausing and reflecting might reveal new understandings and insights about ourselves and our world. Concluding lines: Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. The concluding lines capture the poem's message: the need for a shared pause from daily noise and activity, allowing people to experience a deep silence that may lead to greater self-awareness and understanding. Neruda initiates this moment and then leaves it to others to fully engage with and reflect upon. Now I'll count up to 12 symbolizes the start of this proposed moment of silence. Counting to 12 marks the beginning of the pause, suggesting a specific and deliberate period of stillness. And you keep quiet reinforces the earlier request that everyone refrain from speaking and moving. It emphasizes that all should share this moment of silence, creating a unified experience of quietness. And I will go indicates that after initiating this reflection period, Neruda will step away. This suggests that the poet sets the stage for this pause and then leaves it to others to experience and benefit from the silence. The final lines conclude the poem, emphasizing the poet's intention to create a space for collective reflection and silence. By counting and stepping away, Neruda emphasizes the importance of the moment rather than his presence. Next, let's shift to the analysis of the poem. First, the tone of the poem. The tone of Keeping Quiet is a blend of calm reflection, gentle urgency, peaceful hope, and thoughtful philosophy, all aimed at encouraging a moment of collective introspection and awareness. It encourages reflection and mindfulness. It invites readers to a serene moment of stillness and silence. It envisions unity and harmony through collective silence. The poem emphasizes the need for a pause and reflection. The tone encourages contemplation of existential themes. It shows concern for human suffering and environmental harm. Second type of the poem. Keeping Quiet is a reflective, didactic poem written in free verse. The poem does not follow a specific rhyme scheme, giving it a natural and conversational flow. It aims to teach a moral lesson or convey a philosophical message, urging readers to pause, reflect, and understand themselves and their impact on the world. Third, juxtaposition, imagery, and symbolism. Neruda combines juxtaposition, imagery, and symbolism to emphasize stillness, self-awareness, and transformation, highlighting the contrast between harmful activities and peaceful reflection. Let's go through juxtaposition first. Movement versus stillness. The poem contrasts constant movement with stillness, emphasizing the need for a pause. Human activity versus nature. Fishermen harming whales, symbolizing human exploitation, contrasted with fishermen not harming whales, symbolizing peaceful coexistence. The salt gatherer's continuous, unreflective labor, contrasted with his observation of his injured hands, symbolizing self-awareness. And lastly, war versus peace. The poem contrasts the violence of war with peaceful inactivity. Next point is imagery. Fishermen and Whales vividly portrays the natural world and human impact, highlighting the need to stop harmful activities. Salt Gatherer evokes the image of clueless or ignorant individuals who don't pause to reflect on their actions. Wars and peace. This sharp imagery contrasts conflict with peace. Next, symbolism. Counting to 12 symbolizes a complete cycle and a moment of comprehensive pause. Clean clothes represents a fresh start and renewal. Silence and stillness symbolizes introspection and transformation. Hurt hands symbolizes the self-harm after exploiting nature. Earth as teacher anthropomorphizes earth, symbolizing nature's wisdom about life and renewal. Fourth point in analysis is theme of the poem. First, peace and stillness. The poem advocates for a global moment of silence and stillness to nurture peace, suggesting that this pause can lead to greater harmony and understanding. Second, self-reflection and awareness. Neruda emphasizes the importance of reflecting on our lives and actions, advocating for introspection to achieve deeper self-awareness. Third, unity and collective action. The poem calls for a collective effort to achieve this quiet moment, highlighting the necessity of global cooperation and unity to promote peace and understanding. To conclude, Pablo Neruda's Keeping Quiet urges global stillness and reflection. It emphasizes peace, self-awareness, and unity, suggesting that a collective pause can lead to personal and global transformation. The poem uses vivid imagery and symbolism to highlight the benefits of silence and introspection. This ends the explanation of the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. If you're looking for Class 12's English chapter or poem summaries, themes, vocabulary, MCQs, important passages, and question answers, including extract-based questions, please visit our website www.misroclassroom.com. Stay tuned. We'll meet again to discuss John Keats' poem, A Thing of Beauty. If you like the content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. Bye-bye.